Alright, hello Riven mains and Yasuo mains alike. I'm the Nightwing coming at you guys with another League of Legends video. There was some interesting videos on the LoL esports channel I was watching. There was an interesting tweet from TSM, and then we have a couple of other things to talk about as well. So let's get into it right now. So without any surprise to anybody, Spica started playing this week in the LCS when week 9 concluded, basically, and he did okay. I mean, I was watching his games, obviously, and they looked okay. Like, he looked pretty much like Wiggly when he first started, if that makes any sense. Like, he was good to a certain extent, but you have to kind of factor in that, well, that is also, you know, the foundation of the academy is just that it's a lot weaker than the LCS in general, because it's just a place for building, you know, up talent, which hasn't been done all too well, but that is something that, you know, can be worked on in the future, obviously. And with that being said, the TSM are going to start Spica as main jungler for the 2019 LCS Summer Split Playoffs. Now, this might be very, very interesting to a lot of people. I feel like that this is going to be like, okay, so why in the world did they play Grig and Acadian all split if they're not even going to start them in playoffs? Here is what I think has actually happened. I feel like, I don't know, and this is just a complete speculation. The reason why you make a type of tweet the way they're actually going to write it, when I actually scroll down on this article, is they were probably getting blasted in scrims. They were probably getting so destroyed in scrims that when they started with Acadian and Grig, when they were actually probably playing them, you know, just to play them to see maybe if they could use them in playoffs, they probably got absolutely so destroyed that they started playing Spica and they probably started winning some games. Now, with that being said, that would be the only reason why I would think you would play Spica in playoffs over Acadian, who has been playing with you all split along, and then he also had to split time with Grig. Now, we know TSM have not been playing very, very good. It's pretty much just Bjergsen playing decently well. And me and JTH had a talk yesterday. I don't really think Bjergsen is playing all that good. Honestly, like, yeah, he's the reason why they win games because he's the only, like, competent player they have. But it doesn't mean his actual gameplay is good this split. I wouldn't even put him as an MVP caliber candidate this split, honestly. And if I did, he'd be on the very lowest, you know, type of totem pole for that specifically. Now, with that being said, I think that if you move with the jungling situation, you know, Acadian hasn't looked too good either, and Grig didn't look that much better either. So let's hope Spica can get them a win against Clutch. They face off against Clutch coming up this week for the playoffs. They play in round 1. Now, if you remember last year, Huni and Demonte were on Echo Fox, and they lost to TSM twice, once in the regional qualifier and then once in the playoffs. So they're definitely looking towards going to be getting their revenge against TSM. But let's read the article actually. Tactical and Treats will be the team's substitute players for the postseason. Isn't that their bot lane? Yeah, because Blaze Olive is the top laner. Blaze Olive is the mid laner. Brandini's the top laner. Spica was their jungler, and Tactical and Treats is the bot lane. Now, having the subs for the bot lane makes sense because they have been underperforming. Now, this is kind of like the first time TSM has really, like, actually experimented with this type of thing. They mostly just go with the roster they have. But let's see how this is going to work. Riot Games caster analyst Azael has revealed Spica will be TSM's starting jungler for the upcoming 2019 LCS Summer Split Playoffs. Additionally, TSM will be using AD Carry Tactical and Support Treats as substitutes for their postseason. TSM has endured one of the most rocky seasons in the organization's history, going 10-8 and losing to multiple teams that were either middle of the pack or worse. The roster has gone through 3 different junglers in the span of 8 weeks, which hasn't helped the team's communication problems and its synergy issues. And then we saw Azael tweet that, obviously, TSM used the entire season to see if Acadian or Grig would be the best jungler moving forward, but the coaching staff has ultimately decided to go with neither of them. The fact that Acadian and Grig aren't even subs for the playoff is perplexing and has left many wondering about the future of this team. They're all disbanding after this year, except for Broken Blade and Bjergsen I can think of. Now, I don't know what they probably want to keep Smoothie because I do feel like that Smoothie is so good that he can bounce back. I know this split has not looked really good for him. We saw when he was on Cloud9 and Echo Fox that he was a really good, competent support player. He was MVP candidate at one point, so I just don't want to read too much into his situation because it just feels like he's better than what he's showing, and we've seen it before. That's like saying that Bjergsen is not good. Like, we know Bjergsen is good. For what I've seen from Broken Blade this year, I know he's good now. I don't want to read too much into that because whenever somebody's doing bad on TSM, it always just feels like it's not really them. It's more like the culture, fans, maybe they're always clashing with the players. It's just always this type of environment that's never really going to get better. It's just more on the lines of they're doing bad because of what's going on around them, not because they're actually playing bad, if that can actually make a lot of sense. Spica even confirmed in the post-game interview that he only had gotten 2 days of practice with the main roster before his LCS debut, which make things even more peculiar. Acadian said in an interview that he and his teammates don't really know what drafts they're comfortable with, but how can TSM find their preferred playstyle when they keep swapping out junglers? TSM will be facing off against Clutch Gaming in the first round of the playoffs, which has brought back some painful memories for some fans of the team. The last time TSM faced Clutch in the postseason, they were upset in the quarterfinals back in 2018 spring. Catch Spica and the rest of TSM in action when the LCS playoffs begin on Saturday, August 10th. So, there's so much to say. I watched the interview where Double Lift said that, it was nice to see TSM trying different stuff than other teams. Now, I do kind of agree and disagree with that. I do believe that Cloud9 do try different things. Albeit to some success or not success, I do see them trying different things. I do see other teams trying different things. The issue when they try different things, they don't have the capable caliber of players like the other regions when they actually try different stuff to see it to much success. That's why I feel like that it gets kind of a little bit more convoluted when that type of situation happens, because when you don't have good caliber players to try off different playstyles, then it's going to look worse by default. Like when someone like Cloud9 does it, albeit because they do have a little bit weaker players in certain positions than other teams do, even though other teams are worse overall than they are, then you get to the point where it's like, okay, they can try different stuff, or you could just play who you are as a team. That also comes with an identity issue because you want to be different, but you also want to stick to what you're good at. I say be flexible when it's time to be flexible in a best of 5, or if you need to be flexible when people are starting to figure you out. But other than that, is there a reason to show a lot of strats if you don't need to? Like, that is a bad decision in my own personal opinion, because I'll just use an example. Like when I play Yu-Gi-Oh, and if I can do something with my deck that's a lot different that is different to a certain way that doesn't lack off my consistency, that doesn't require me to actually use the better cards in my deck, I'm going to probably do that sometimes. It all obviously with card games falls under the consistency logic, but what I don't like when teams do it is like you try to be different for the sake of being different. That's not really what you're supposed to do. You adapt to be different when you need to be. Like when Cloud9 did it against AHQ back in the 2017 World Championship. Remember when Cloud9 lost to EDG and SKT, and AHQ beat SKT and they could have gotten out of the group? That last game they played, where they adapted and they picked Caitlyn, who wasn't even a meta pick in the Ardent Sensor meta. Obviously, that is when you need to be flexible. You need to be able to adapt and be flexible at certain things. And I do agree, North America does need to obviously try different stuff. That's obviously true. But you don't want to do it to the point where you're just doing it just to do it. You want to do it for a reason. And I don't want teams to do it just because they want to do it. I want them to do it because they want to get better at it and they want to actually use it as an ace up their sleeves. But seeing TSM start Spica over Acadian and Grig after Acadian played all the split, man, when Sven in the TSM Legends episode said that they just aren't really playing as a team. Smoothie said it too. I just don't have much confidence in them. Like, if they do beat Clutch and they somehow match up against Cloud9 again, I just don't feel like they're going to beat Cloud9 again. Like, the last time they faced, it was a really close series. I just feel like this time they're on two different levels at this point to make it that much a difference. But who knows? TSM might beat Clutch, but if they are having a slugfest against Clutch, I'm not really too high on them right now. But if TSM make Worlds, oh, so help me Lord, that'll be just the day again. So that's pretty much it for TSM. Let's see. I'll talk about that in another separate video with other teams that didn't make playoffs actually. And then I'm obviously going to preview the playoff series obviously as well. And then we're going to be getting to SK Gaming's leaked player reveal with the team in the latest EU Rising video. So if you watched the latest EU Rising video, which I did before I actually started this video, we know SK Gaming is losing a bunch of games. They're in last place, if I'm not mistaken. I know we have a decent amount of SK Gaming fans on the channel. Yeah, I'm not gonna say I told you so, but I kind of figured this was gonna happen. Not because like they're just all bad players. It's because like when teams do well in specific scenarios during any season, there's always that one team. There's always that one team that's doing well because everybody else is failing. And that was them last split. That was them. That was SK. They were doing well because everybody else was failing. Because all of the expectations for other teams just never came true. Like Misfits stunk. Schalke fell out of contention. Vitality started sucking. Origin really never came online until like the very end, and then they got second. We just had a lot of we just had a lot of unpredictability in last split, and we can tell this split when people figured them out, because they were easy to figure out, they have just not been doing well. They basically said, we started losing a lot of games. Selfmade said we just can't we just can't find a way to improve, and people are getting more tilted and tilted. Like, that's just not a good sign right there. I hope that they can bounce back. I hope they can. A lot of people said that they didn't need to switch out Warlib. It doesn't matter if they switched out Warlib or not. It doesn't matter. They were going to get figured out. They have a simple play style. It's literally Selfmade carries them. And then if the other laners stay relatively consistent, then they can win the game. That's their play style. Literally, that's what it is. If you want the bare minimum of what their play style is. I know some people say that the other players have decent moments. Whatever. It doesn't matter if they have good moments because they're not a star player. To have a lot of wins, the point where you can be a lot better is you need a star player to do that. A lot of teams, even if they have like an X-star player, have an X-star player that can and should be able to take over games. They only have it for Selfmade. They've even switched out their mid laner. Pyrian was not so good, but I just don't think it was his fault, obviously. But I hope SK can turn it around, and this is not surprising to me at all whatsoever. I've said this before. I'll say it time and time again. This is just not surprising to me personally. But I do hope that they can bounce back. Yeah, Sakurai is an upgrade over Warlib, but that wasn't, like, people need to understand that didn't matter. That didn't really matter. Yeah, you got a better top laner. You get a higher ceiling. Sure, that will pay off eventually. If they even if they make playoffs, that will pay off, hopefully. But right now, playoffs are a little bit out of their reach right now. But hopefully they can bounce back. Ownership issues at Kingzone may have caused the team in the recent slide. Alright, so this is really, really interesting. It's just like, Kingzone have been kind of slipping. So everybody remembers Kingzone as like the Def team, right? People pretty much know them right now as the Def team because Def is their star player. They've been just like, I haven't really did that many videos on the LCK. And I'll be doing a big, giant, mega episode on the LCK. I promise you guys. I'll give you my full thoughts and opinions on the LCK when their season is over. And it's going to be over, I think, in this week coming up, actually. Or next week. So, yeah. Be on the lookout for that. So, ownership issue at Kingzone may have caused the team's recent slide. After a strong performance in the spring split, Kingzone have fallen off a cliff. See, the reason why this is also not surprising to me is because not only did Kingzone show this last year, this was even going to be more prevalent this year because they have weaker players than they did last year, and that's just a fact. Prey and Deft, you can kind of just say who's stronger or better. It really doesn't matter, honestly. To Sun, to Gorilla, the bot lane's comparable, right? their top side to mid or to their mid laner were just not as strong as it was last year. Now, a lot of people have said that, they have just obviously not looked so good to a certain extent. Right now, this is popping up. I don't really know why this little pops up. I'll just prop up the task manager and just get this off here. I gotta get this off here quick. I don't know what this is actually. Oh my lord. Oh my lord. Sorry about this. But yeah, Kingzone definitely have been sliding because it just feels like it's more like management issues and like drafting priority and stuff like that. It just also feels like they have just kind of lost their edge. Like they don't really know, what is the right way to play the game anymore. Just kind of feels like they've just been like regressing in every single aspect. Like drafts have been kind of wonky. The freaking map rotations have been bad. Now people have said that's ownership issues. That's just more like, yeah, that can be ownership issues, but it's more like, if it's really ownership issues, how would that affect you as a player? People are going to ask questions like that. I can read a few of these things, just a little bit. Following the ownership change, issues started appearing. Following ownership issues started appearing with the team. These were first reported on Naver Esports Radio LCK show on August 3rd. The InVen report alleges that the new ownership tried to make a huge in-season changes to the roster, including firing the coaching staff. The players and coaches fought back against this and are now stuck with an ownership group that doesn't want them. That could have led to the recent decline in form over the last 2 weeks. Kingzone denied the report in a tweet, but we haven't yet heard from the players and coaches. That would probably yeah. I mean, that's interesting because like Kingzone got third last split. I mean, if they want to make roster changes, like why would you kick out all the players? Why would you kick out Deft and Tucson? What's wrong with you? Like, according to InVen, I keep saying Ivern. InVen, Kingzone's parent company, Fighting Esports Group, FEG, wanted out of the esports scene because of the level of investment required. The company found a buyer in the middle of the 2019 season and sold the team. It's unclear whether the move was cleared by Riot Games, which now runs League Champions Korea. In other leagues, Riot has approval rights over team sales. So basically, this is a really big talking point I want to actually talk about on the channel. The high level of investment for money required to run these League of Legends teams is ridiculous. But that'll be for another video. That's a lot of talking points right there. But after an okay start to the summer split, the wheels fell off. The team has lost 4 straight series to fall to 8-7 in matches played. Now we may finally know why. According to a report from InVen Global, the team has been struggling with yet another round of ownership issues that have hurt the team morale. Kingzone has long struggled with solid ownership. The team was created in 2018 to acquire the roster of Longshoe Gaming, a team that had issues just making payroll. Yeah, I remember Expression talked about he was really not getting paid on time, and just a ton of issues that are going along with Kingzone right now. But I'll see you guys later. Like, comment, subscribe. Most of all, enjoy. I'm the Nightwing signing out. Let me know what you guys think about TSM playing Spica for playoffs, Kingzone ownership issues, and Kingzone decline, and SK Gaming on the decline. So see you guys later. Bye. Have a good day.